welcome to my channel. So I have been tagged by the lovely Jane from Jane Gammons. She has created a tag that is basically 10 questions. They're all varied and they're all Slimming World related. So I'm going to answer the 10 questions now, and then I'm going to tag 2 people if they would like to join in. So the first question, and I've written these down, so I do apologise if I'm looking down all the time. Number 1, how has Slimming World changed my life? It has changed my life massively. I basically live Slimming World. Like, I absolutely love this plan, healthy lifestyle. It has made me appreciate food a lot more, about what's on my plate. It has made me appreciate myself more. With regards to cooking and things like that, I love in all the recipes and that, but that isn't, some of that stuff is stuff that I would have created before or eaten, like made myself before. I've always made things from scratch, so things like regarding cooking and things like that, it's something I've always done. I was basically brought up in the kitchen learning how to cook, both me and my brother. We both, I mean, I was always making like flapjacks, making lasagnas, bologneses and that as I was growing up, obviously with the help, not when I was too young. But yeah, basically I've always loved cooking. I love creating recipes. I can literally go in a cupboard and pick things and think, all right, okay, that's going to make that. So I'm quite creative in that way, but I also do follow recipes, and sometimes I just create recipes that are just quite standard, like bolognese. I sometimes do a little twist in it and things like that. So with regards to cooking, that isn't something new, but it has made me appreciate the food more. I am definitely like enjoying my food. Like, I'm enjoying chocolate. I'm enjoying, if I have a glass of like wine or something. It's very rare now I have wine, but if I enjoy it because I'm not just drinking it for the sake of it. Like, you know, like on a Saturday, if I finished work, I probably would have like had wine and just drunk it just for the sake of it, just have a couple of glasses to end the day. Not that I have a drinking problem or anything, please don't think that, but it was just something I did. I didn't actually need it. Now if I do fancy a glass of wine, I will have that glass of wine, I will sin it, I will measure it out, and I will enjoy it, and I won't have any more. Same with chocolate. I enjoy chocolate. I'm not something I'm going to cut out because I enjoy it, but I'm appreciating it more. I also appreciate myself more. Like, I've worked really hard this last year to get where I am now. I know I've still got to get a little bit further, but I mean, you know, I'm not scared of social events anymore. I would always go to social events, but it was pretty much all or nothing with me. Whereas now I can go to a social event. Sometimes I choose to drive because I don't want to drink, so I'll just enjoy the food or whatever the occasion be. It's just, yeah, it just made me change my life in a positive way, and I don't ever imagine not doing Slimming World in my life. It'll always be there, even if I ever finish vlogging. I don't know, I don't plan to at the moment, stop, but if I did, it will always be there at the back of my mind about how I will live and eat that lifestyle. Number 2, name one person that you can relate to that inspires you. So that would have to be, now this is really hard because there's so many people that I watch on YouTube, that I follow on Instagram, on my Slimming World Instagram account and also my personal one. And I think it would have to be, if I had to, you know, even in my personal life there is people that inspire me as well. My mum being one of those, but if it had to be sort of Slimming World related and I have to pick someone that you would know, I would have to pick the Budget Slimmers. I've followed Cath and Laura pretty much since the beginning of their Slimming World journey and since they started vlogging, and they've done videos before and talked about their background and how Cath has kind of battled with her weight over the years, and Laura as well, where they've sort of lost weight and put it back on and things like that. And that's exactly how my weight loss has been, where sort of pretty much since I was a teenager, it's gone up and down, up and down. I look back now when I was a teenager and I think, my gosh, I can't believe I thought I was fat. Like, and it all has to be is one person will say one comment to you and that sticks in the back of your mind. I can't even remember who that person was, but it's someone has said that to me, because it's obviously stuck at the back of my mind and made me anxious about it, and maybe made me sort of aware, but actually I'm not. And yeah, and then I did Weight Watchers years and years ago, but then I went back to eating normally and the weight went back on. And again, it was like up and down, up and down, up and down. And that's kind of how it's been. I know Cath has sort of had other issues and things like that she shared, which hasn't been the case for me. But I think Cath and Laura I kind of really relate to in their sort of the ups and downs over the years. So yeah, it does really help that we see, well, it's not nice seeing other people going through that as well, but it's nice seeing them coming out the other end, and that they know people like that, there are people out there that are similar to you and that you're not the only one. But I also love, you know, they make everything again from scratch, most the way they cook and things like that. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching them since I've started this journey, and I've really enjoyed it. There are others as well, but it's so hard. But if I had to pinpoint based on that I can relate to, it would be the Budget Slimmers. Number 3, what's your weigh day ritual? So I get up, have a shower, get ready, whatever. I don't have weigh day clothes. In the summer I tend to wear like the same sort of skirt and t-shirt. In the winter, when I've had a week where I've been out, maybe once or twice, I tend to wear, which is what I did this year, is change into my like jeggings, so a little bit heavier than my skirt. So if I get a gain, it doesn't matter, so I'll wear then I'll wear those jeggings for the rest of the winter. So I'm back in my, but it's not the same jeggings I wear. I do mix them up. I wear different tops all the time, so I'm not like I have to have the same clothes on or anything. The other thing I do is I have a coffee. I always have a coffee first thing. I can't really, I mean, I've talked about it. I love coffee. I'm a coffee snob. I love good quality coffee. I don't have quality coffees in like from a coffee machine in the morning because I can't focus that much, but I like to have good quality instant coffee, and I have that first thing and that's it. I also have a bottle of water, and I have that first thing before I have my coffee, so that I've got time to pee basically because yeah, I like to make sure all the fluid is out before I before I step on those scales. So those are my weigh day rituals. Number 4, do you have a treat after weigh-in? So I weigh in first thing in the morning, and then whilst I'm at weigh-in I have my breakfast, and that might be a banana with some easy peelers, or I might have a pear, or I might have a quark with some fruit, and I sit and eat that. But I don't think I could last much longer than that, so I have that. Or I might have 2 hi-fi bars, just something to tide me over till lunch. When I get back from lunch I have a Slimming World meal, so that might be sort of Slimming World friendly meals, so that might be a salad, or it might be a jacket potato. And then for dinner, I've only just in the last month noticed that every Friday I have creamy Cajun pasta, and it's kind of like my weigh day treat. Yeah, not that it's off plan or anything, it's what I enjoy. So the reason I don't have a treat on weigh day, which I don't judge anyone else that does, so you know, if it works for you, just do it. Like, if it makes no difference, fine, just do what works for you. But I watched, before I rejoined Slimming World this time, I watched a lady, and I think she's called the Mummy Monologue on YouTube, and before she had her 3rd baby she was doing Slimming World. I think she's had the baby since, so I'm not sure if she's back on it. But one of her tips was not to have a weigh day treat, which I think is what I probably was doing previous when I did the first time Slimming World. So I don't have a weigh day treat. So that, yeah, that kind of stuck in my head, so that I want to live this lifestyle, and I just think it's getting in the whole mindset of like, which for me could trigger a binge or something. So, you know, if we really fancied a takeaway, I would have it, and it would be Slimming World, like making the best choices and being Slimming World friendly for me. But I wouldn't have the full-blown curry or anything, but we would never do, I don't think we've ever done that. But yeah, so I don't have a weigh day treat really, just because I want to live this as a lifestyle, and it's something that I've learnt this time. So yeah, that's my answer to that one. So number 5, how do you distract yourself when craving sins? I would probably go and watch some YouTube. So stick on some YouTube or head over to Instagram. I've even done lives before because that kind of takes it away. Watch something, my favourite thing on TV, like a TV programme that I might want to catch up on. I might go and make a cup of tea or a coffee, depending what time of the day it is. Just kind of take, like, maybe add some sweetener to the coffee to kind of, if I want something sweet, I'll have that. Yeah, I don't go around and have a bath or anything like that. It depends obviously what time of day. Can I just see you later kids, I'm gonna go have a bath? No, I would, yeah, that's what I would do. I would probably just like watch something, take my mind off it. That was my answer to that one. So number 6, how do you save money on Slimming World? I don't actually think Slimming World actually needs to be that expensive. Okay, if you're doing the Slimming World group or you're doing it online, because obviously you've got the expense there, so obviously taking that away, you can actually keep Slimming World quite cheap actually. You're probably doing more portion control, so you're monitoring what you're eating and filling up on like your free foods. So having like pasta and things like that, and then bulking out your pasta with lots of speed. So things like onions, tin tomatoes, courgettes, mushrooms, which you can get quite cheaply. I think shopping in places like Aldi and Lidl's can keep your fruit and vegetable costs quite low, which is, I find, is one of the biggest expenses apart from meat. But I find that having fresh fruit and vegetables all the time can be quite costly. I think like berries and things like that I absolutely love, but they are quite expensive, and so sometimes I buy the frozen ones just to have in the freezer when it's a little bit tight for the month, so you can sort of use those with some like natural yogurt and things like that. You can get frozen vegetables, which is what I mainly buy now, like for broccoli and cauliflower. They're quite good to add to meals, to bulk out. You can use things like lentils. I think you can do Slimming World quite cheaply if you're creative in the kitchen, or you like look at recipes and you learn to cook, or you can cook already. There are, you know, good places to start are following like people like the Budget Slimmers. Also, there are like lots and lots of people on YouTube or on Instagram where you can get recipe inspiration from. So I think if you can plan your meals like that, Emma Jane Godsell, she's a really good person to follow because she does meal planning, things like that. She talks about her different meal plans and what she plans for the week ahead. Jo Vlogs, now Jo Vlogs isn't actually doing Slimming World anymore, but she does do like a sugar-free diet, not diet, but healthy lifestyle. But she's really good as well at meal planning, and so if you put in Slimming World meal planning, lots of people will come up, but those are 2 that I would recommend. But there are also some really good cheap recipes out there that will help you stay on plan. It's the things like all the little treats and things like that. But then I think if you were a person that had lots of takeaways and things like that before, or went out for meals a lot, and you're not doing that so much now because you're doing it from home, you're going to save money there. So that's something to think about. You know, I know people that won't do Slimming World because, it's too much expense. You've got to spend £5 a week to go and stand on some scales. Yeah, but you're spending £25–30 a week on curries and Chinese takeaways and things like that. So you need to change that mentality and think, actually, yeah, going to group, using my £5, staying to group, or doing it online, whatever's more convenient, will actually be like money saving in the long run. So hopefully that will help you. But yeah, I think using frozen fruits and buying vegetables and fruit that are in season will really help keep your costs low. And things like meat and things like that, either go to your local butcher where it can be quite more cost effective, but there's always offers out, like, you know, Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Waitrose even, I've seen loads where they do the 3 for £10. So buying 3 different types of meat, that could last you a whole week. If you buy a chicken, that could last you a few days, and then maybe have a meat-free day and things like that. So there's lots of recipes out there and lots of ways, but it's just about planning and being organised and things like that. Number 7, what areas do you need to work on in your weight loss journey? One of the things I think is always going to be, I'm going to have to work on is my habits. Now, I've managed to control them, I managed to recognise them, stop them, and I'm controlling them, but I think it's something that I'm always going to have to work on to make sure they don't slip back to old habits. I think that would be the thing for me. Body magic I've always done for years and years and years. So that's not an issue, that's not something I need to work on. Again, with water, I've always drank lots of water, since my early 20s. What else? I'd say meal prepping is something maybe I could work on, but I think for me it would be the main thing is the habits, managing to control those habits. So even though I've got there now, I can't just still be lax about it. I think it's just going to be an ongoing thing, part of my journey. Name a film that sums up your weight loss journey. Bad Mums. I don't know. That was quite hard, Jane. That's a hard one. I don't know. Bridget Jones. I'd say Bad Mums. Yeah, I'm good all the time, but then sometimes I let loose and like have a few drinks. No, I'm not that bad. I'm not like Bad Mums at all. I really don't know on that one. Oh, I struggled on that one. Number 9, what is your quick go-to meal in a hurry? Oh, something I always do when I haven't planned anything like properly or haven't prepared anything, but I need a meal quick. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like nearly dinner time, I need to get something quick. So I would either get either chicken out and defrost it in the microwave and then put it in the oven with some seasoning, usually a spice and Thaice one or 7 Thai spice I like, whatever I fancy, put it in the oven. I'm really liking the spice and Thaice peri peri chicken seasoning, which is really, really nice. And then what I do is the packet rice. I've got the golden savoury rice you can have from Aldi or Tesco's every day, I think it's called now, or Bachelors do a curry one, and the rice ones which are free. And then whilst that's cooking and the chicken, I would then cook some vegetables. So it's not my first choice of meal, but it's my quick go-to because it's quite easy to do. The other thing I would swap is maybe the chicken for some vegetarian sausages, like the Linda McCartney ones, or the corn. They do, I think they're free, and the fat-free ones or low-fat ones, I can't remember what they are. There's some different, they do different sausages, some are sinned and some aren't. Otherwise the Linda McCartney ones are half sin, or if you use the rosemary and red onion ones, they are sin free. And so I would put them in the oven because you could put them in from frozen, and whilst then I would cook the rice and vegetables, and it's quite a quick meal but still on plan, and yeah, it's really nice. Number 10, what high sin treat would you be prepared to spend your sins on? A gin and tonic. That's quite high sin. Well, I suppose it's not that bad, it's 5 sins. Or even a glass of wine. If I really fancied a glass of wine. I'm making out I'm some kind of lush, but I'm not. I'm really not. I can't tell you the last time I had a drink. Though I am going out tonight and I'm out to a pamper evening, so I will have some drinks then, but they will be within my sin allowance. Yeah, I would say a nice, now that it's getting a bit colder in the evenings, a nice glass of red wine, and I would have a big glass for 12 sins and enjoy it. Yeah, that was what I would spend if I had to spend some high sins, a glass of red wine. So those are my answers to the 10 questions. So I hope you enjoyed them, and thank you for tagging me again, Jane. So I'm going to choose 2 people to tag, and the first one I'm going to tag is Helen from the Livingstones, if she would like to join in. And the second person I'm going to tag is actually I'm going to tag the Budget Slimmers. So that's Cath and Laura from the Budget Slimmers and Helen from the Livingstones. I will put their links up below. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank you again, Jane, for tagging me, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Take care. Bye.